The views of individual students at Veterans Tribute do not reflect or represent the views of VTCTA as a whole. Here at Veterans Tribute, we encourage our students to critically think, have an open mind, and form their own opinions through research, experience, and respectful discourse. I'm Madeline Wright.
I'm Layla.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Melanie.
I'm Cynthia.
I'm Ada.
And you're listening to Coffee Talk.
After hours.
After hours.
Okay, so we're going to start this session off by talking about how technology influences Gen Z.
Yes.
So, Cynthia, you want to start us off?
Oh, well, before that, we wanted to say thank you for all the support you guys have been given us. We're happy that you guys like it. Okay, so I wanted to start off by saying how social media, a lot of people lie on their social media and they pretend to live such a nice and happy life when in reality, like, things aren't that way, or they'll, like, over-exaggerate things. And because it's just, like, not fair in a sense, I guess. Because I feel like you're lying to yourself. And it's like, why would you do that, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, not only does it harm the people that are like seeing these posts, but like you said, it's like it's harming yourself because you're starting to compare yourself to the version everybody thinks you are, and you can't live up to that because you're acting like you have no flaws. It just sucks.
Yeah, you see that in a lot of YouTubers when like after years of living up to this perfect image of themselves, quit YouTube, or they just like tell their fans that they need a break because they can't anymore. And I feel like that happens a lot with us teenagers as well. We have like a fake profile that we have online, and then after a while we don't do it anymore, and we feel overwhelmed to like constantly be posting or like showing a happy self.
And not only are we like affecting ourselves by portraying this random or this a perfect image of us, but everyone who views it also thinks that you're perfect. And then the next person, they're like, oh, well, they're perfect too. I'm not this way, so it must be something I'm doing. So you're wrecking yourself by thinking, oh, I'm putting on this perfect persona. Everybody thinks I'm perfect. And then everybody who views your Instagram, your Snapchat, your whatever thinks I'm not living up to what they're living up to as well.
True. Nobody posts the bad stuff or the things that go wrong in life. Everybody just wants to post, the success stories and all the things that are going right. And, hey, look at how much money I have and all the cars I have and the house I have. And nobody just, like, posts the struggles. So I think that that's what encourages more people to lie about how their life looks and how it's going.
I agree. I feel like especially our generation, because we grew up in the digital age, I feel like there's some kind of pressure on us to be someone we're not, especially on social media, because like you have people from elementary school or like middle school that follow you, and you want to make it seem like, oh, I've changed, like I'm a different person.
Yeah,
I do
like,
these
I'm
things.
doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah.
I do crazy things, whatever. But in reality, like, no, you're not. Like, don't even lie to anyone. Don't lie to yourself. Like, don't create a new person, a social media person. Be who you actually are on social media.
I feel like the whole fake persona thing isn't just social media driven, because if you have older generations and people who didn't grow up with the internet, they still never wanted to like showcase the bad things that were going on in family and like money struggles. It's just now it's a bit more prominent because everyone can see it more because of social media.
Right. There was no audience before, right? Before there was no audience. Now you have an audience where like some teenagers have like thousands of followers, right?
Yeah.
Whereas before no one knew what you thought, no one cared what you thought, but now we feel like we have this whole like entitlement to like speak our voices when who are you? Like, why should I listen to you, like Yelp reviews, I feel like, to me, that's like going up to a random stranger and being like, hey, what do you think about this place? What do you think about this place? Like,
It's like, how credible, how credible
it
is
it? It's really weird, the kind of, like, atmosphere we've created in our world of, like, where might come across rude, but not everybody wants to hear your opinion. Like, like at the end of the day, like, we have Yelp reviews. I know I work at a restaurant where my manager gets on us about bad Yelp reviews. And, like, this is one person who's decided that they've had a rough time at our restaurant, and they gave us a bad review, and it reflects on me. And if they put my name down, I can get some serious trouble for somebody's opinion. And I think that's crazy that we've created an atmosphere where it's like everybody's opinion matters when I really don't think it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to like how people only share bad reviews because
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like they use that as their outlet since they have to pretend to be all happy and all perfect all the time. They could finally like get angry on Yelp and I don't know, it's a harming businesses, you know?
But I mean, that's
Yeah.
people's nature though. Like you think more about the negative stuff than the positive stuff. But that's
Mhm.
why
That's true.
I write things that are positive only because I feel like it is natural for me to like think of the bad service that I got at this place. But there are so many good places that I don't write about. So like if you look at my reviews, it's the places that I like because that's what I want to promote, not just trash places, you know.
Right.
And also, like, that bad experience can also be, like, one thing. It's not for everyone.
Exactly. It could be just at one time too. You know,
Yeah.
so.
Maybe you were a bad customer too. People always say like, oh, the employees are bad, but sometimes the customers come in with really bad
They
attitudes.
do,
Mhm.
yeah.
And you're trying to help them and you're trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Like there's many times where I'm like, hi, how can I help you? And I'm smiling and I'm trying to be super nice to
Yeah.
this person. And they're,
they're
just
just
like
not having it,
angry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, keep in mind, guys, like, I'm a high school student. Like, why are you yelling at me? I'm a child.
Like, what's the worst thing that you guys have experienced as a worker while working during high school? You know?
Oh, let me open up my book. Let me tell you. I had this lady come in the other day, and she was late to pick up the food that she ordered. It's a pizza place, and she's 15 minutes late, and she comes up to me, and I'm gonna say nicer words than what she said to me, but this is freaking cold, and I was like, you did have a pickup time and you are late. If you'd like, I can remake them. Well, they're freaking wrong anyway, and just starts going off and is yelling at me. She threw a pizza box lid at me.
Oh.
She wants my manager. She wants this and this, and she's like, I can't believe you would try to sell this to someone.
God.
And it's just like, ma'am,
it's a
I am
pizza.
17. Like you're cussing out somebody that could be your daughter's age.
Uh-huh.
Like, why are you doing that? Like, it's so unreasonable. And I'm sure she went on, a social media page, Yelp, or her personal, and was like, I had the worst experience today. It's like, nobody actually cares, including the people you threw the pizza box at. Like, you are so rude for no reason. And I think she did ask for, like, my name and my manager's name to write a review on us. And it's just like,
And you're so
you didn't even give me a chance to say, like, how are you? They're freaking cold, so I don't know how to help
Oh
you.
my gosh, Rachel.
Yeah.
Okay, this reminds me of when I was working last week. We work in a place that has lots of homeless people. And these homeless people are actually really entitled, without saying that kind of rude. But they think they deserve everything, so they go to the ice machine even though they're not supposed to. And they try stealing our ice and our sodas. So my coworker, who actually does not like this at all, he kicked out a group of homeless men who were trying to do that. And 5 minutes later, another one comes in, and he gets his Gatorade bottle and just starts getting some of the ice. So my coworker, being angry, decides to take it away from him and throw it away. And as he was doing this, he was cleaning, so he left the squeegee on the floor. And this homeless man picks up the squeegee, which is 5 feet long, and starts hanging it over his head and about to hit him. And my coworker's already on the floor, he can't get up. And the homeless man hits him so hard that he breaks the squeegee in half.
Jeez.
And I was training someone at the time, so we both freaked out and had to run and try and stop him from hitting the guy in the
Oh
head.
my god.
And it got to the point where my coworker kind of clocked out and chased after the man. But it was crazy, and this is
At least you
Something-
clocked out.
oh yeah, there was customers. They were like, oh, did he just clock out? And they started dying of laughter, and they chased after them too to go see what was gonna happen.
That's crazy. He was gonna hit him with the squeegee.
It was that bad, but I was
Oh my
never
gosh.
that scared at work until I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my god. When I was working, a guy, I could tell he was on drugs, and he was also homeless, and he would come in and he would just start talking to me, and I was like, leave me alone, I need to work. And then he told me one time he wants to marry me, and I was like, I am. He was a grown man, he was old, and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm gonna call my manager. And then another time, I remember, also there's a couple of homeless people from where I used to work at, and they would come in and they would just sit there, soliciting, right? And that's not allowed, and I had to tell them to please leave, and I'd be scared. I'm like, what if they just turn around and they just smack me? And I was scared. And then one time, I did tell this lady, because she came in with this one guy and they were arguing. I'm like, okay, well, now you're causing a scene. You can't do that. And I told her, I was like, can you please leave? And she was, I didn't even was close to her, and she saw me from a distance, and she's like, what are you going to tell me, huh? What are you going to say? And I was like,
Nothing anymore.
I like your shirt.
I said, can you please leave? I can't have you staying here. She's like, well, what am I doing? And this and this. And then she's like, give me a cup of water. And I was like, okay, but then can you leave afterwards? And she's like, fine, I will. Then I gave it to her, and she threw the cup of water at the seats in front of her. Thankfully, no one was there because that would have been terrible.
Oh my God.
And also, I mean, it's just water, but still, you know. And she was mad, and she got up and went out, and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And then I had to clean it, and afterwards, when my aunt came to pick me up, and I saw her through the drive-through window, and I told her, I was like, hey, like, Tia, like, do you guys want anything? And the lady was at the bus stop, which was not far down, and she's like, hey, what time are you off of work? And I said, huh? What? And she's like, because when you get out, I'm going to beat you up. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she just kept yelling things. I mean, she was telling the other people who were waiting for the bus, she's like, that girl did this. And I was just like, what? Excuse me?
Gosh.
And I was just scared. And
How
then
old was she?
she was a grown woman.
Too old,
Also, like,
man.
Too old to do that,
Why
yeah.
is it like, I'm 16.
And
I'm
also,
16.
yeah, at the
like-
time I was 16, and also I'm like, I get so annoyed at that, like a grown person fighting with a teenager, like, you're not even on the same level. Like, why are you yelling at me?
I make minimum wage.
Yeah.
And you're screaming at me.
Yeah.
I had this other one that I'm gonna have to dull down again. But so I work with a girl, and she's very pretty, and so she gets hit on quite a lot. And this happened to be by a man who was like 40 years old with 2 children.
Oh my goodness.
And so he's come in
The
before.
children were there?
Yeah, the children were like next to him.
Uh-huh.
And so the children were next to him, and he was saying, oh, what's that girl's name down on the end? What's that girl's name down on the end? And he kept saying it and saying it. And so finally I was like, oh, I just want to let you know, she's 17. And he pretended to ignore me, like, because he was talking to the person next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said it again. I was like, just a little bit louder. I said, she's 17. And he turns around and he goes, what the frick did you just say to me? And I wasn't freaking talking to you.
Oh.
And I don't know who you're freaking talking to like that. And if I was in a different location, we'd handle this differently. And all this. I just wanted to get her Instagram.
What?
And I was like,
What?
I was like, yo, you're just trying to get some pizza. I thought. I didn't understand. So yeah, I got a whole podcast full of those.
I mean, we just went off on a tangent, but I liked it. Yeah. I'm happy that I'm not the only one who was scared.
But you know, like, the one thing that I've learned though, like I was a waiter and bartender for many years and worked in fast food restaurants as a teenager. The one thing that made me feel better was like if I ever had a rude customer, I would just assume that they had a bad day,
Yeah.
and that way it made me feel a lot less personally attacked.
Right.
Because sometimes when you get caught up in the moment, you're heated up, you're frazzled, your hands are shaking because you're about to do something bad.
Yeah.
But when you like see the person, you're like, man, that person's life's probably horrible right now. And then it makes you feel so much better and just calmer, and then you're chill about it, you know.
Well, after I dealt with the lady who like threw the pizza box at me, I was really mad, and so I asked if I can go on my 10-minute break. And so when I came back from my 10 minutes, somebody, another lady who was behind the woman came up to me and was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, you handled that really well. And like, you kept a smile on your face, and I'm sure that wasn't easy for you, but you did really well. And that made it all worth it to me, that somebody else was realizing, like, I'm really hauling off. Like, I'm trying not to, like, yell at this lady right now. And, like, somebody else realized, wow, she's doing a really good job.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know what's up with, like, grown adults attacking teenagers.
That theme that's been
And
popular
it's always
recently.
someone older. Like, you would never see a teenager.
Fight like a teenager.
Right.
No,
Right.
yeah, it's
At least in,
older
like,
people.
customer service.
Yeah. No, I feel like because we, like, not, like, pity each other, but we understand it. Like, I'm in this, I understand what Rachel's saying.
Yeah.
I'm mostly just saying, like, I've been in that situation, so I know what it's like. Like, when I go through drive-thrus now or anywhere, I want to treat them like how I wish I would have been treated.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
more patient,
Yes.
more calm, like, I'll wait,
Yes.
don't rush.
I'm a lot more understanding. I realized, like, ever since I got a
Yes.
job, I'm a lot more understanding if
Yeah.
something's wrong or if it's taking
Yeah.
too long, or like I know you can tell when like a kitchen's in panic or like
Yeah.
retail
Oh,
workers are in
true.
panic.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, dude, it's okay.
yeah, like, it's fine. You know, you can take a couple extra minutes on mine or
Yeah.
whatever, just because you know these crazy people that we have to
Yes.
deal with.
Plus I'll order correctly now too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let me get a pizza and
Oh my
and
gosh,
a drink.
people say that all the
And
time.
a drink. What kind of pizza?
Yeah.
Like, can you specify?
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
Or one of like the biggest things is I'm on cashier and I'll say, "Would you like any drinks or desserts?" And they'll be like, "Nah, can I have a drink though?" And I'm like, I just asked you that.
Oh my god.
So yes or no? Yes or no?
At Cane's, the lemonade is 21 cents more, and we always ask, like, we know when a person wants lemonade, so we're like, would you like any lemonade with your order? And they say, no, we'll just get a drink from over here. And then they come back 5 seconds later, can I get lemonade? And it's like, I just asked you, you said no, and I have to do like another charge, and like, or like they'll go past the first window and drive through, and then they'll go to the second one and they'll be like, can I get 5 cane sauces? And it's like, sir, they're 35 cents each.
I'm sorry, I do that. I'm so sorry.
Once they're paying, and they're like, can I add something else? And I'm like,
You already reached the last stage, and you asked them several times if they wanted anything else, and they're still like, no. And then they literally put their card in. I have people put their card in the chip reader all the time, and then they're like, actually, can I have 4 desserts? You're like, how could you not realize this sooner that you wanted 4 brownies?
You just decided you wanted 4 brownies.
But then what do you do if you're that person though? Like midway through, you insert the chip, like crap.
Yeah.
I want 4 desserts.
No, I don't say anything.
You say that. You know what?
It's fine, I can go with that. Or like, I'll get back in line. It's no big deal. Like, it's fine.
No, there's people like that though.
Yeah.
Like, they'll go through drive-through 5 times because they keep on forgetting things. And I'm
Oh,
like,
it's
God
horrible.
bless
What?
you. know,
People
you're doing
do
us better
that?
times.
Yes. Jeez, I've never even seen that.
Yeah,
But I mean,
I
at
would tell
Cane's,
them
like,
just to add it.
They
Sorry.
took your time.
Yeah.
Hey, just to go back on topic though, social media. There's one question I want to ask you guys.
Yes.
Ooh,
Since
okay.
you guys are born into this kind of like society, my question is like, where do you think it's going to be in the next few years? Like, is it going to get worse before it gets better? Is it at the peak of its worstness? 'Cause I feel like many people are getting off social media. Like I've gotten off social
me
media.
too.
I've gotten off Facebook. I feel like I feel better. Like my mind is not.
cleansed.
Yes, I feel like
Yeah.
like people talk about eating like a healthy diet. There's a mental diet too, and I feel like social media is like eating junk food for your brain. Kind of thing,
Agreed.
you know, like you're seeing people showing off their lives that aren't really truly their lives. You're seeing all these like negative media stuff that's just making you feel even more angry and more anxious about everything. When I got off of it, I feel like the whole statement, like ignorance is bliss kind of thing, right?
My cardiologist even prescribed to get off of social media.
Yeah. It's like,
And I was like, I didn't even know that was like a big factor to affect my heart. But yeah. Maddie, you wanted to say something?
I think social media is gonna get a lot worse actually. Like even if people are going off it, because I think I can't remember the name, but they're developing technology now where you could Photoshop somebody's face onto a video and it looks so realistic, and I feel like
I know what
yeah,
you're
the
talking
deep
about.
fakes, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they're just gonna keep
It's crazy.
doing stuff
the
like
limit,
that.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, there's also that it's a conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
but that Facebook will use your microphone to hear you pick up, like to hear keywords that you say.
Yeah.
And so I saw like this one YouTube video of a couple, two people, and they're like, we don't have a cat. We've never researched anything to have to do with a cat, but we're going to open up Facebook on both our phones and just start saying cat and like things about a cat. And later on, like that week, they had advertisements about a cat. About like getting like cat litter and things like that.
But that's not a conspiracy theory. That's like true.
Right.
Yeah, the TV's doing it. Like Amazon
Like they're
does it to
picking
you.
up your If you research, if you like look up something, your Amazon like, oh, this is recommended for you. That will be on your thing. So like, what's in the future? Because we thought, back 10 years ago, we're like, there's no way our phones are going to listen to us and recommend things off of what we say. But we're going to say that now. We're going to say, oh, there's no way it's going to like read our minds. Obviously, that's like too advanced, but like that's too far. But what is that too far? Because it's listening to us and recommending things off of what we say.
See, like it only does that because we allow it to. Like we
Right.
sign up for
Right.
it. We don't read the fine print. We're like, whatever.
It's fine, yeah.
I want to post my food pictures so bad.
Right. Yo, it looks so cute in this.
I need those likes. Yeah, I need those likes. But it's crazy because like when you're kids and you guys grew up with this, like getting those likes is a validation.
Yeah.
And you feed off of it,
Exactly.
like even though I'm very conscious of it, even when I get a like, I'm like, ooh, I got a like. Like, even though I hate myself for it, but I'm like, I feel good though. I like it. But
Right.
it's frustrating. It's like a weird cycle because like you feel like you're missing out on stuff too if you're not on it, right?
Yes.
And so it's a weird cycle.
Yeah. My little sister is just like that. She's a couple years younger than me, and so she'll post something on her Instagram, and then like in person, she'll yell at me to like it. I'm like, it's not that easy. Or she'll try to compare our number of likes on like our last post, and I'm like,
Wow.
I literally don't care. I don't post on Instagram. I don't know. I feel like people aren't going to necessarily get off of social media completely. I feel like people are starting to understand, like, some people can be fake about the lives, and a lot of influencers that I watch are being truthful about what goes into, like, perfect bodies and stuff like that. So those are the people I watch on, like, social media outlets, and I feel like I mainly just use social media for memes and just for funny things.
I mean, just think about how social media culture has changed, though. Like, these days, I feel like it's just a meme culture. Like, that's all I see these days.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it was like, the clickbait stuff, like, you won't believe what happens next, and nothing happens. Like, 3 minutes while you die fishing. Like,
Well, I also
what's
feel
next though? Like, what's next for
right. Well, I think it's odd because I've always heard from, like, older generations, parents, even, like, the generation above us. Oh my gosh, like, I would hate to grow up in the digital age where you're growing up and it's so stressful. I can't believe how you're handling this, and we don't know of anything else. And I think that's kind of weird because, like, my mom included, she's like, oh my gosh, I spend too much time on Facebook and I do this and do that. But I couldn't imagine growing up when it's your age. But, like, I don't notice it anymore. It's so adapted in our lives that, like, it doesn't matter.
It's in school, like, it's how we do our schoolwork now.
Yeah, it's really weird to think that, like, older generations see us differently. Like, that's just how it is. Like, that's just how we grew up. It's odd.
My mom's boyfriend's kids are like young. She's just starting middle school, and she got an Instagram probably in 3rd grade, and it's yeah. And I'm trying. She's following all the Kardashians, and it's really pulling her up. And they make Instagram accounts where, like, they compare and contrast, like, paparazzi photos to what they post, trying to show all the, like, Photoshop that goes into it. But I don't even think she cares at this point. Even if she thinks it's fake, she knows it's fake, but she thinks it's still attainable for her, and it's not healthy.
Yeah.
And it's scary because as much as we'd like to think we're not affected by it, we totally are. Like, we look at the models or the influencers or whoever we follow and we're like, you know, I'd kill to look like her. Or, like, wow, her eyes, or wow, her body, or whatever. Wow, they're whatever. It makes you subconsciously, you're like, I look nothing like them, or I want to look like them. That's a scary mindset that we put ourselves in. I don't know how often you guys go on social media, but every day.
Every day.
We look at that and we critique ourselves.
You want to say something, Ada?
Oh, I was just going to say it's because people who are on social media are idolized. That's the word. I remembered it. And so that's why even if we know it's fake, it's still, like, that's the image that people are like, wow.
Right, but I mean, there are some people that will post stuff, like, without makeup on, or, like, their unphotoshopped bodies. You know, I feel like that's cool because now they're, like, spreading a body positive kind of message. You know,
Right.
And admitting to it. Like, yeah, you know, a lot of times I do pick the best lighting. I do pick the best angles. So it's nice to see those kinds of posts because I feel like for you guys, for younger people, man, like, it's like brainwashing you to feel and think a certain way about yourself and about the world, you know?
Well, like, that no makeup trend that was going around, like, a couple years ago, or even still to this day, like, you had influencers and models saying, oh, no makeup, but they spend thousands of dollars on their skincare routine. They have lip fillers, Botox, eyelashes, Botox, but no makeup. So all the kids see that and they're like, my skin looks nothing like hers. Like, my lips look nothing like hers, like that. And that's a scary thing because they don't realize it, but they're pushing that on their audience of, like, I look like this. Do you?
Yeah,
well,
like, you're advertising a fake version of natural.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I think that's the part that, like, is really scary to our generation is that we just know that as normal. Of like, oh, it's weird that we know so much about, I don't know why that just popped in my head, but it's weird that we know so much about social media influencers. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like, why do we have to know so much about them? Yeah. Like, vlogs? Yeah. Like, who really...
Like, what I do in a day. Get ready with me.
Get ready. Things like that, where it's like, no one would ever watch that of me. Why are we watching this of random people we've never met?
Why do I care about your life?
Because it literally doesn't matter, but we're just so drawn to it.
But we feed into it.
Yeah.
It's so odd. I don't know why that just popped in my head, sorry. But
You'll
I
see
know
that
you.
about shows too. Like there's so many people inside like these fandoms, and they memorize everything about characters and actors, and they will like recite every fact known possible about them, and it's like, okay, bro, what about your life? What about
Yeah,
school?
it's
What
scary.
about your like
and
your
like,
own things?
it's so easy to remember like stuff like that, or like even like this reminds me of like song lyrics, but I can't remember like something from math. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what? How can I know these like dumb little things, but I can't remember something important?
Yeah. It's a strange thing that we are so immune to.
And I think the vlog thing goes back to how much we like desperately want to form connections with people.
Yeah,
and
you're
if
right, yeah.
all of their friends are putting up this perfect image, we want to see like this vlog of, hey, woke up late today or something, and it makes us, I don't know, it forms like a false connection.
Yeah.
And it's also weird to think, like, I associate like reality shows with like the new like vlogs of like popular influencers. Like I'm not gonna like name drop them, but they've been vlogging like the build of their new house for months now. They get millions and millions and millions of views. There's no way that at least 1% of their audience can relate to that. But they still watch it, they still like it, and they come back every day for more.
Those videos are like
really
2
odd.
hours long.
Yeah.
Like you sit there and watch this for 2 hours.
And you'd
like,
think that you'd view something and watch them to relate, but you don't. There's no way you can possibly, I mean, I don't know everybody's life, but I feel like the people that watch it, that there's not going to be anybody that can
Like,
relate
oh my God,
to
I'm
building
building a house too.
building a multi-million-dollar mansion. There's no way
Yeah.
their audience relates to that. That's really a strange thing that the craving of connection, we're like, well, if I can connect to them, like, I can be like them.
Yeah.
I don't think they're aiming to relate with their audience anymore. I think it's more just to like flex. It's more just to like flex and show you how good everything is.
Yeah, but like I think we also have a need to like live through other people too. I mean, just look at how we get into sports. Like people go
That's
crazy,
true.
and are you part of that team? No, but you when you're on the TV, you'll throw your popcorn.
Yes.
You know, like
you should have passed that. And like if I played, I'd no.
They're like, I would have done this. You're like, I really don't think you would have. I'm not trying to call you out. I don't think you would have.
Yeah, so like it's some weird thing like inside of us that wants to like live through other people and live through people that we kind of idolize, I guess, and think that we're part of it or part of their tribe or something, you know.
That's with video games too.
Mm-hmm.
So many people watch YouTubers that play video games, and I feel like it's because they don't have the game themselves, or like they don't have the ability
That's
to play.
such a weird thing.
weird.
My brother has a certain game and watches this person who has an annoying voice. He watches their streams for hours, but has the game.
And watches them
What?
play it.
Yes, watches them play the game.
My little brother
What?
does the same thing.
But I guess that's the same concept with sports. It's like you could have a football outside, but you're not gonna You're not gonna do that. You're gonna sit
Watch
down on
them
Sunday
play.
and watch them play football.
Yeah.
Same with that. You're not gonna play the game you have. You're gonna watch somebody else play that.
Like-
That is so weird.
Because it's so easy to watch someone do it for you. Then you going out
Yes.
and learning how to play a
Because like
sport,
those
learn how to
DIY
play
videos, those cooking videos, like I'll watch those like late at night.
Yeah,
I'm like, am I actually gonna do this? No.
You're like, that's a good idea. And you never do that.
Yeah, you're right.
Or those kids that make millions of bucks just opening toys.
Oh my
God.
God.
Yeah.
Who watches those? There's like millions of
Exactly.
viewers.
I want to make my cousins do that so I can get money for
Right,
them.
yeah. That little kid, I don't know his name, but even if I did, I couldn't say it, but like, he has like millions of dollars. And it's literally his name, like, opens toys or something like that. And all he does is have the box of toys, and he's like, oh, this is what I'm going to be opening today. Opens it and plays with it for 3 seconds and, like, has millions of dollars. Like, this kid is set. Like, I don't understand. It's insane. That's so
you know
crazy.
how, like, the app, like, YouTube Kids is specifically for kids, so there's some bad videos? Like, sometimes I'll watch, like, my nieces and nephews on it, and I don't know, I feel like they shouldn't, because they're so little, they shouldn't have, like, a tablet or whatever. Like, they're babies. Like, they should not have that. Anyway, so they're sitting there, and they don't even watch a full video. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I watch a video, like, all
Start
of
to
it.
finish.
Yeah. They just like click one thing and then like next. Like they don't even watch like a minute of it. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's how also adds on to like how much money they have, because it's just like one quick little view, not even a full view. You know?
Yeah, and
But,
they
I mean,
get that money.
But that's culture these days in general. Like for my generation and before, like we listen to albums as a whole because the artist made an album to be heard from
As a whole.
I do
from
that.
the last album.
I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you guys live in like the MP3 culture where like you just like singles, you know?
Yeah, you can like pick out certain songs. Like I don't
Yeah,
think we
from
realize
the
that that's like that's like new to be able to pick out a song that you liked from the middle of the album.
Right.
Like
I had it
that's
used to
never
it.
used to happen.
Put a cassette in, wait for it to finish.
I
and
used
then
to
like
love doing that.
backwards and
Wait,
like
Rewind
y'all,
it,
y'all
flip
had
it.
cassettes when you guys were growing up?
Yeah, I had a Walkman too.
A Walkman.
Yeah, my mom had a Walkman.
I had like a little pink DVD player. It held,
Yes.
no CD player. It held one CD and it had like a one jack for headphones.
Yeah.
And I used to flex that. I was like,
loved
okay, look.
mine. I had one of those too.
Yeah, they're
I've
awesome.
always loved music, so that was like my go-to.
Yeah,
And then I learned how to start using a computer and
it was game
That
over.
was it.
and then it was like burning your
Now I burn CDs.
Oh my god.
Now it's
I mean,
so
no, we
much
don't.
now
Just
it's
purchase
Spotify.
No, I remember when I used to like burn CDs when I was little. My mom would do it and we would just sit there and she's like, here, write this down, and I would like take it, write
I
down, put it on the
still
side.
I still burn CDs from my car.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you do like colored Sharpie on there and you're
Yes.
like party playlist.
Go back.
Or like Jonas Brothers or something.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh.
Oh my god.
Nick
it's
Jonas
crazy.
is my lover. Like
Yeah.
I love those.
I remember like rewinding VHS tapes to watch movies and turn them. I remember doing that.
Oh yeah.
But speaking of movies, I feel like that kind of genre is dying too. I feel like with Netflix and Hulu, like
Yeah.
it's so much better to watch a series because you get to know the
Yeah.
characters more.
Oh yeah.
So like these days, I don't recall a time where I got hyped about a movie except for the Marvel movies. Like those are the only movies
No,
that I
yeah.
look forward to these
I
days.
agree.
But everything
Yeah.
else, I feel like it's so formulaic.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the same. Like there's always a love story, even though there shouldn't be a love story.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But
Right.
like, are the Marvel movies? Because it's kind of like a big series now. It's just, like,
Right.
connected
You're right.
together.
That is true. That is
Just
true.
like
Extremely like
long
pushing them all out
episodes.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really watch movies. I like watching series on Netflix.
Yeah, me
On
too.
Netflix.
I haven't
Yeah.
watched a movie in forever.
When I,
Documentaries.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Docu-series now.
Yeah, docuseries. Yeah.
I was just saying, like, when I watch movies now, I do want to, like, have that connection, but I want to be, I want to be able to talk about movies, so it'll take me, like, a week to watch it, because I'll watch the first 10 minutes, and then I want to obsess over what happened for the rest of the day, and then the next day I'll watch the next 10 minutes, and it takes a long time. Like, I don't want to miss out on the movies.
But like, here's the thing that like with you guys have movies on demand. Like when a movie comes out, you guys can just download it real quick and just watch it.
Yeah.
Whereas back in my day, like it sounds a bit. Back in my day, back in my day, like when the movie came out, like we got excited for the weekend. Like, oh guys, we gotta go watch the movies, Because if you didn't watch it at the time, you would have to wait like 6 months for it to come out on VHS. Whereas like these days, oh, I'll watch it later. So then, like for me, I've compiled a list of movies that I have to watch
Same.
that I
but
never
won't.
watch, and I'm watching because I feel like I can watch it at any time, at any point. Whereas before, like you had to watch it then, or else you'll miss out on conversations and So
I would go to the movies more if it wasn't $8 for a little
true.
thing of candy,
Yeah.
or like if it just wasn't so out of my way to go to the movies and like go out and do those kinds of things when I could just watch Hulu.
Right.
It's just the convenience. It's the convenience of it all.
Yeah.
And I feel like movies, unless they're like really hyped up like Marvel movies, people don't really want to go to the movies because it is expensive to
Just
get the
streaming
ticket,
kids.
to get food at the movies. You can't bring in your own food. I feel like people really only go to the movies to like go on like
For
a
a
first
date,
date.
right? Ambiance kind of thing. But at the same time, like your home theater system these days, like everything's so affordable. Like to have a nice big screen TV, nice speakers, like. What is the point of going out,
Right, yeah, true.
Right.
They're actually like setting up season passes for movie theaters
Right.
now.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
I would
because-
do
like,
that.
Yeah, I'd do
Oh,
that.
I would
I'd do
do
that.
that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I do that.
Sure.
I feel like the outdoor movie theaters are coming out.
Oh,
Ooh.
the drive-in,
Yeah.
the drive-in
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
theater.
I saw like driving by through Decatur. It's called like I forgot what it's called, but it's like a UFO themed one. They only show weird movies.
Oh.
Yeah, you're into it now.
Yeah, cool.
Put it down.
Like it's a local
What
one.
was the address?
Yeah, but it's not, there's a billboard for it on Decatur.
But yeah, even that is like less expensive, and you get to stay in the comfort of your own car. You don't have to deal with other people, unless parking.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go out and talk to people and be like, "Oh, excuse me, can I buy this ticket?"
And the whole culture around films is kind of, I feel like, changing for the better now because I probably I don't know. I keep hearing about all these new film festivals going on, and I just went to like an indie horror film festival, and it's a lot of fun now because the actors will be there and the directors will be there, and they'll have a like question and answer after. And I don't know. I feel like even though movies are changing now, it's not necessarily for the worse.
And I feel like we're all kind of connected. And I don't know, like, personally about the indie, like, films and, like, being at one of the festivals. But, like, I was just sitting here thinking, like, the internet and social media has connected us to relating to movies. Like, you can't have, like, a popular movie like Marvel or any of those other ones without having, like, memes on it. That means, and, like, it's kind of funny because that way, like, the internet's all connected into one, like, big inside joke about
Bird Box.
Yeah, Bird Box. Like, Thanos was, like, a meme for a minute. Like, that's really cool to think that, like, we're all, that's, like, one of the positives about that. It's, like, it's all one big inside joke.
True.
That's
I
so
like
odd.
inside jokes.
And, like, it's funny because you can bond with someone based off the memes that they've seen. Like, that's insane to have that.
And I feel like I watched a video about like a new system of movies that could be going on. Like not movies per se, but like a movie theater. It's instead of they'll have their system where like, you know, you sit in the rows and you watch the movie. But they're also wanting to include something more open where a bunch of strangers get together and watch a movie but can also talk about it throughout and make jokes. And it could be like a new way for teenagers to make friends outside of the internet. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for that.
Oh my gosh. That's another thing that we could talk about is like making friends, how hard it is to do it in person after you're getting so used to doing it online. Where it's just like so easy that it already has like conversation starters and like you have your profile to talk about and all that stuff. But when you're in person, like it's like, what are the interesting things about me that I want to tell you that, you know,
that aren't already out.
Media. Yeah,
that's such a strange thing.
True.
And I feel like it's so much easier to talk to someone over text because you have time to think about it.
Yeah, to sit on it, to make a good response.
Yeah, but if you're sitting in front of someone, I can't take a minute to like, think of something.
Think of something funny or something witty. Yeah, something like that.
You're funny and witty on the spot, though, so.
Stop, my head. It's all going to my head.
Well, like, yeah, you know, like now people will, like, you'll be talking to them and they'll be like, oh, that's tough, or cool, man.
That's crazy.
And then just like your story for you to just tell me, like, that's crazy, bro.
For real.
Yeah, I do that all the time and I feel bad. We're like, I don't know what to say. Sorry.
So you're the pun melody.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's so easy. Like, even on Snapchat, you can slide without opening it and, like, answer 30 minutes later, like, an hour later. And be like, sorry, I was in the bathroom.
Oh, I was busy.
Yeah. We're not busy. You read half of it and decided you did not want to read.
I think we're exposing ourselves a little bit.
I just see you do it. I'm like,
So wait, like, where are you?
what do you know?
And it's such a cliche, I feel like, to hate small talk, but that's, I don't know, I feel like getting rid of small talk is one of the ways to make these friends that we're trying to make.
I despise
Yeah.
small talk. I cannot deal with that.
Yeah, but I'm standing next to
It just feels so like aggressive. Like I'm gonna make you talk to me, but it's not about anything that we want to talk about.
I hate that too because it's like, okay, this might sound cynical. Bear with me. When somebody says, "Have a good day," and you reply, "Thanks, you too. Have a great day." Nobody is altered by you having a great day. Like random strangers.
Dude,
like you're
speak for yourself.
No, because you know.
Try to change my mentality.
You know that's not the case. Like my day is not altered in any way, shape, or form. Knowing a random stranger is gonna have a
But
good
then what's
day.
the alternative? Say nothing.
No. No, at my job, I'm like, hi, nobody hates me. Like, I don't say hi, how are you? And my manager hates it. And I'm like, it's too much. I'm not gonna say it. Like, nobody cares. I'm sorry. I don't care.
I'm not even expected to answer. Hi, how are you? Is a greeting now. Like, it's just like, hi,
Yeah,
how are
you can just be like, hey. You can respond with hey. You don't have to tell anybody how you are because it's like such a like a.
It's just polite speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel bad if I'm like, well, I feel good if I don't respond. I'm like, and you, like.
Yeah, it's a whole couple seconds that nobody cares about. Yeah, it's so annoying.
No, I was just gonna say, like, they don't want to tell you how they're doing if you're a complete stranger
Exactly.
and you don't want to hear it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what if
honestly.
the next time you said, "Hi, how are you?" They'd just be like, "Well, not good, man." Like, you would No, not when you're just like trying to get your Subway or something. Like,
You're holding up the line.
Exactly. Like, there's no way everybody's 100% honest because you hear every standard like positive phrase when somebody says hi, or when you say hi, how are you? They're like good, great, fine. It's never like, man, I'm going through it. Let me tell you what's up. Like, I would respect that a lot more, but then we wouldn't have no time to do anything because we'd all be talking all our day.
But Ada said like it's a stranger. I don't know if like me and like we
I
just
don't
Maybe I'll start telling strangers.
You're like, I'm going through it, man. Do you want to hear about it?
No, then don't.
No, then don't ask.
Let's cancel this culture.
That'd be so nice. I don't know, your manager wants you to say how are you to like connect with your customers, but you don't have to. I don't know. The other day can't remember where I was at, but I was ordering like I don't know. I don't remember. Something. And there was nobody behind me, and she started playing like a guessing game. She put on a bunch of Disney songs, and she was just wondering like how well versed I was. Not at all. But that was a lot of fun, and I'm gonna, if I can remember where it was, I'm gonna go back. Yeah.
Well, like, well, I think that you should connect with people in a different way. So, like, I'm kind of doing that with certain customers. So, if I'm working on cashier and a woman who, like a 20 to 30-year-old woman calls me ma'am, it's a survey that I'm taking and seeing if they're in the military. Because nobody else from that age group, women 20 to 30, will call me ma'am unless they're in the military. And I've gotten 5 people. Every person, the 5 women that have called me ma'am are all in the military.
See, that's
It's weird, right? Yeah. And so, like, that way I can connect with them. So once they say ma'am, I'm like, why would you call a 17-year-old ma'am unless you had manners, you know?
Back when I was serving tables and bartending, like, I would call people ma'am, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if they were younger, and they would, sometimes they would say something like, "I'm not ma'am, I'm only 20, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
But then, what's the alternative? Like, do I call you, "Hey lady"? No, what is the appropriate term though? Like, is it miss? Hey,
It's miss. I say
miss sometimes.
It
Yeah.
depends, like if I'm not sure like how old they are. I guess.
Yeah.
Like, if they just look like young, I'm like, oh, hey, miss. But if they're someone that I know like is older, like someone of my mom's age, I guess I could say I'm like, ma'am. I say ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then how about for a guy?
I would
Sir.
say sir.
Always sir.
no
Even
matter
if
what.
it's a 16-year-old kid, like,
Yeah,
hey
even
sir.
if it's
Yes,
no,
sir.
I'll say.
Now to think about it, I'm pretty informal. Like, I don't.
I say it all
I mean,
day.
I work at a pizza place. It's not like I'm working like suit and tie kind of place.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I mean it depends. Like, sometimes I'll say it as a joke. I'll be like Rachel will be like, "Hey, ma'am," and I say ma'am all the time. Or like Tanika will be like, "Hello, sir," and he just thinks it's funny. But if it's like if for a girl who's my age, sometimes I'll call her like miss. But for a guy, sometimes I won't like address like him by sir at all. But if it's it's a man, I'll be like sir.
Yeah, I mean, I always felt conflicted because it's either ma'am or nothing. Like or I say, hey,
what's up?
what's good? Here's your total.
I say ma'am and sir all the time. I don't.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing I noticed about this school. Last year, like, a lot of students wouldn't call me by Mr. Lou. They would say Mr.
Yeah.
And that threw me off because, like, in all my years of teaching, like, I've never been addressed only by Mr. And I've never seen students address a female teacher by Miss or Mrs. only.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's part of, like, Hispanic culture. That's what I was told. Is that true? I don't know. This is the only school ever that I've ever experienced that, ever.
Well, we have big Hispanic.
Hispanic culture is mostly speaking to any adult as usted, which is like the formal version of you. So like, or señor or señora.
Yeah, like, I think
Then
that's where
I
it
guess
comes
that's
from.
where it comes from. Yeah, like Mr. and Miss.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really like saying like Mr. Like they have.
I feel like it's weird.
Yeah, so I
see
sit there and I'll be like, Mr. Lou. I don't think I've ever said Mr. I just don't like the way it
It's
sounds.
like calling your
I call you
doctor
Mr.
by like their last name and not doctor.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Like, yeah, some teachers don't like it either. Be like, okay, well, I'm gonna start calling you student. Like, I understand.
Yeah, that'd be
Get upset.
weird. That'd be weird.
I feel like that's when you're calling them teacher, like with Miss
teacher.
Miss Chemistry.
We all know who we are.
Yeah, Miss Chemistry. Like I feel like then that's like rude, but like if you're a new teacher and we're saying Mr. or Miss, it's because we like don't know we don't know you too well. Like I don't think I really called you Mr. ever. I think I just called you Mr. Lou.
Yeah. But I mean, there was a student today that like whispered to a classmate of hers. I was like, "What's his name again?"
Are you kidding? I feel like that's, at that point,
2
just
months in,
plain
like-
disrespect. Like, we have not learned.
My name is one syllable.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. You know?
And now we're moving on to the advice corner.
Okay, so how do you deal with your emotions / trauma in a healthy way?
I don't know if this is necessarily healthy, but I think the best way is just to like let everyone know, because I feel like
Like the strangers, like,
Hi, how are you? Not good, let me tell you.
But I feel like when you try to keep it in, everybody knows something's up, and I don't know, it ruins your friendships a little. So like in president of Crypto Club, people should join. But I was up there and I was like, okay, I'm having a really bad day. This is gonna be a little bit of a mess, but this is how it is.
Yeah.
You just have to announce it to everyone, and then it'll be, I don't know.
I mean,
Less
not
messy.
like sorry, you go ahead. Not go into like depth if you don't want to. Like, well, you know, this happened in this, but just like let it be known. Like, yeah, I'm not feeling too good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I feel like talking about it to friends or like a sibling is helpful too, just so it's like out in the air and you're not holding it all in. Because I do that a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I've been talking about stuff.
But see, here's the thing though, like sometimes when you say it to certain people, like sometimes I don't say it to certain friends because I know that they are bad listeners.
Right.
And then they try to give me advice that I'm not trying to hear.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's just me trying to vent. Like I'm just trying to vent to you. So stop giving me your advice that's not even.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
when you tell them, hey, I don't want your advice on this, I just want to get this out into the open, so please don't give me any advice.
Yeah, I
Like,
just
don't
want you to
talk, just
listen.
listen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't talk, just listen. So like with my ex, like I would vent to him, he's like, I don't know how you want me to respond. It was like, just respond with some positivity. I know it doesn't seem like it helps, but it does. And then one time he tried to give me advice on something, I'm like, that didn't help at all, and then I told you that.
You just make me more mad.
Yeah, it made me more upset.
Yes.
I feel like people think they have to give advice when someone listens. Like, honestly, you don't have to. You can just be like, hey, like, I know it's really hard for you, and I'm sorry you had to go through that, but like, I love you, and if you need a hug or anything, I'm here.
But some people don't understand that though. Like for me, as a man, like this is probably a bad stereotype, but I feel like I was very clueless in that way as to how to listen properly.
Right.
Because like my first reaction is like, oh, you got a problem? Well, let me fix it. Let me help you
Let me
find a
fix
solution
it.
for you,
Yeah.
right? Because I love you, so let me
Right.
try to find a solution for you.
Right.
But sometimes people just want to vent.
Yeah. Not everybody needs a solution to the problem.
Right.
They
And also,
just need you to
There
listen.
might not be a solution.
Yeah,
Right.
there might not be
Right.
solutions. It's out of everyone's control.
Right.
So
I feel like at the end of the day, like we all have to have at least one person that you can come to with anything that you're dealing
Just a
with.
support
Like,
system.
yeah, whether that's like family, I know not everybody has that, but family, friends, even like a teacher, a counselor at school, somebody.
A
club, yeah. Like you need to have something where if
A dog.
you're a dog, right?
Yeah, your dog.
Maybe somebody who can But I mean, as long as you have one person in your life, you can be like, and they can handle it too. I think that's important.
Right. Yeah. You know. I feel like certain friends fit certain roles. Like there are certain friends of mine that I don't talk about like emotional stuff with, and there's certain friends that I do, and there's
Right.
friends that I like to eat out with, certain friends I don't.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So you gotta find the right. I mean, but then Madeline's saying to say to everyone to let them know. But I feel like sometimes when you do that, it gets more exhausting because then they try to pry to, or like not
Well,
pry,
it's
but
always
like,
Fan account.
Or sometimes I feel like
Honestly.
I don't want anyone to pity me, and like I feel like they're gonna start pitying me if I tell
Right.
them, be like, well, I feel bad. Like, don't feel bad for me. Like, I don't want you to give me your pity. Don't do that.
Right.
No, it just makes me feel worse.
Yeah.
And I know we keep like joking about talking to strangers about things,
Yeah.
but honestly, yeah,
Like a
and
therapist.
they're not quick to give you advice because they don't know your life, and it's like you can't just walk up to them
Yeah.
and say, But I feel like, I don't know, I talk to a little too many strangers for sure. But it's just, if you're, I don't know, if you're having small talk with somebody and then you could just, like, well, how are you really? They'll tell you things. People want to talk about themselves.
Yes.
Right.
So I feel like,
It's a natural instinct to want to talk about yourself. Yeah.
yeah.
Even
Just,
if, yeah, that's cool. Even if you don't have someone to talk to, personally, I'm very, like, to myself. So, like, I'll do things to have my own outlet. I know, I saw a YouTube video recently, and it's, like, one of the guys says he puts his AirPods in and goes on a walk and pretends like he's talking to someone on the phone. But he'll be, like, ranting about something. And, like, it's true that, like,
That's smart.
It's really
as soon as you
smart.
get it out, like, it's no longer, like, pumped up.
Holding you
back,
You got
yes.
I think out in the open air, you can kind of see it, and you can be like, oh, that's irrational. Like, let me throw that out. But, like,
Yeah.
I
think that's
personally talk to
important.
myself so many times just to get things out of, like, my mind, of my heart that's, like, freaking me out. So, like, honestly, you can do that, or you can have a diary. You can find some source, like, feeding your dog or running with them.
Right.
It helps out a lot.
I think another big thing is, like, don't just throw things out and say, like, that's irrational. Like, even if it...
I was just giving an example.
I just feel like even if it is, like, something you shouldn't be upset about, I feel like if you keep telling yourself, oh, like, I shouldn't be upset about that, it's kind of you lying to yourself.
Because you're upset for a reason.
Yeah,
your
right.
feelings
Sometimes
are always
it's like-
valid.
I'm allowed to be upset right now, even if other people don't understand that.
I feel that.
I really liked that. I think that that's important. Like, sometimes, you know, everybody likes to try and, like, solve a problem for a friend that they love or somebody like that, but sometimes you just need to be upset.
Yeah.
And you just need to, like, vent and, like, be upset and be sad and whatever, and it will pass. And as long as you just need that. I think that that's important.
There's definitely no requirements or like a checklist. Like, you can only be mad if this happens.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
like you can be
Right.
mad or sad whenever you can feel whatever way you want to feel.
And when it doesn't go away, that's when, like, that's a problem. But
Yeah.
you have, like, your feelings are valid to be upset and be annoyed.
One thing I did was write a letter about how I feel and like just getting it out there. Like, no one has to read it, or you can I guess give it to the person if you want like the problem to be solved. But I felt calmer afterwards. I was like, okay, well, wow. And then like I ripped it up and I was like, okay, I feel even better. Like, I feel like not that I threw away those feelings, but I feel like I was able to like
Deal with
overcome.
them.
Yes,
Yeah.
like, deal with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like either talking about it or typing it out, and you don't necessarily have to send it to someone, but I've been emailing an old teacher, and so I was complaining to him about things that were going on, and I didn't necessarily have to send the email, but it just felt better to type it all out.
Yeah.
So that I can see, like,
To get your thoughts down and
Yeah.
look at them.
Right.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
actually
Yeah.
mad about? Because we could
Yeah.
cloud, like, it's the same when you're stressed, like you have a lot of schoolwork, you have personal stuff going on. Sometimes you just don't realize what you're actually stressed about. Like, it could be just
It's
one
like
thing,
6
one
things,
big
yeah.
thing, but you're stressed about these little things. Like, once you
Yeah.
get it all out, you can analyze, okay, what's most important? What do I actually need to worry about? And what's...
A really important thing to handling, like, emotions and trauma is finding the underlying cause for everything.
True.
So, like, if you feel something, find out how you're feeling, what exactly it is, like the emotion, and then why that's happening.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can try to solve the problem. And you can solve it. If not, it's you trying to find a way to go overcome this.
Right.
Yes. And if it's like a trauma, because it says emotions / trauma, I do suggest talking to someone who is professionally trained for this. We have counselors, if you were a student that asked this, or we have therapists. And I know a lot of people don't like talking to therapists, but I think, like, it is essential for everyone to have a therapist at this point.
Because friends can only do so much.
Yes.
You know, people can only do so much. And there's like such a negative like stigma against therapists. Like, well, I'm not crazy, so why am I gonna go talk to a therapist?
Right.
No, it's not that you're
I
crazy.
feel like that's changing,
That's
though.
changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
changing big time because
Yeah,
I know,
I'm
like,
happy it
especially a
is.
lot of people on social media are like, oh, I have a therapist. Or there's an app that
I
they
see.
advertise.
Yeah.
You have to be 18 for it.
BetterHelp.org. is
Yeah,
that what it is?
I'm 18. Yeah,
Time to go
and
mental health.
so like I feel like getting a therapist now and like having one, there's less of a stigma now because it's being people are so concerned about mental health now.
And we were talking about like friends that aren't good at listening. A therapist is just a professional listener.
Yeah.
Somebody who's literally there for you
They
and
are the best
provide the best advice for you. I mean, what's more you could ask?
They went to school
you know,
for listening.
here's the thing, like they don't give you advice because like when I went to therapy, I was hoping like I would say all my problems and then they'd be like, all right, so here's what you gotta do. Step 1, step 2, step. But then like it's not that. They just listen to you. They are the best validators because like they allow you to feel how you feel.
Yeah.
And then what I come to realize is that like they ask you certain questions to kind of guide yourself to finding your own answer, right?
Yeah.
Through talking it out. So that's like the best way because like the way I feel about advice is like it's weird giving advice because people don't take it. Like they'll listen to you, but like the only way that they'll take advice is like if you make it feel as if though they came up with it themselves, then they'll take that advice. So, so I've learned that about people, and so like I try to, I don't know, like I don't try to outwardly give advice, you know, like I used to, but.
I mean, simple things like I'm listening, or like I understand, or like I don't understand, but I'm here to like try to. The simple things like that really just help anybody out when they're going through something.
Sometimes I'll notice if one of my friends doesn't feel too happy about anything, I'll ask them like, do you want to talk about it? I'm not going to be like, well, tell me what's wrong. No, like, because if you don't want to talk about it, I understand that. And I always ask them, like, do you want to talk about it? And they'll be like, no, I don't want to. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, just know that if you ever do want to talk about it, I'm here for you.
Yeah, so it just goes back to having a support system and dealing with your emotional traumas in a healthy way. So I think that concludes our advice column. Yeah?
Yeah.
I like it.
Don't forget to submit more advice.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yes. Please like and subscribe. We have a YouTube channel. We really do appreciate all the support you guys have been giving us. It literally made my day.
Yeah, me too. Oh my
and
gosh.
then someone commented and like all the board members were like, oh my god.
Yeah, we freak out a lot more than we'd like to admit. So if you'd like to comment, it will make us cry.
We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.